Listen up, Barcelona family, like and subscribe to the channel to know everything about Barcelona. In this video, we have news that resonates at Camp Nou, on Los Ramblas, throughout all of Catalonia, and in every corner where a Blaugrana heart beats. Hold on tight, cules, because this is bigger than the 2-6 at the Bernabeu, juicier than the chant, Madridista Kinaboti, and more explosive than Iniesta's goal at Stamford Bridge. FC Barcelona has dropped a bombshell on the transfer market. Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, the German wall, the guardian of the Cule Temple, has been sold in a multi-million operation that has the Madridistas in tears, the Chiringuito pundits speechless, and the Cules celebrating as if we had won the Champions League. This is not a rumor, this is not a tweet from a lost intern, this is the absolute truth, the exclusive that will shake the football world, and here at Barca Without Bar, we tell you with all the Blaugrana fire, with a passion that only a true Cule can feel. Let's go. If you're one of those who vibrate with every save from Ter Stegen, one of those who shout, Visca el Barca, until you lose your voice, and one of those who laugh when Roncero cries on TV, subscribe now, hit the red button, join the Cule resistance, and let the Madridistas know that here, there is no bar that can stop us. Come on, Cule, because this is just the beginning. We are going to analyze this operation that leaves half the world speechless and the other half, the Madridistas, looking for tissues to wipe away their tears. Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, the goalkeeper who has saved Barca more times than Johan Cruyff himself, has been transferred for an amount that, according to our sources, exceeds 80 million euros. Yes, you heard right, zero. A sum so obscene that even Florentino Perez looked at his checkbook as if it were a joke from PEDRI. And who got the German? None other than Galatasaray, ladies and gentlemen. The Turkish team said, enough of Madrid's domination and the headlines, and dropped a sum that makes the Mbappé transfer look like a bargain from a flea market. But let's put things in context, because this is not just about money, it's about strategy, Cule pride, sending a message to the world. Barca is back and we don't need a bar to win. Ter Stegen, our Kaiser, our legendary goalkeeper, has been the soul of the Blaugrana goal since his arrival in 2014. Impossible saves, leadership, personality, and that "don't mess with me" look that made strikers like Cristiano Ronaldo tremble, who, by the way, never scored a penalty against him. Never. Where is Edu Aguirre to talk about that, huh? Where is the journalist who spends his day crying for Madrid and saying that Ter Stegen is not up to par? Come on, Edu, get out from under the Chiringuito table and explain how your Galactic Madrid couldn't beat our goalkeeper. But let's not stray from the topic, Cules, because this is a celebration, not a funeral. Why is Barca selling Ter Stegen? Because Hansi Flick, the German genius who has brought hope back to Camp Nou, has a plan. And when we say a plan, we're not talking about a "let's sign Vinicius so he learns to cross." We're talking about an ambitious project, a Barca that looks to the future, that laughs at Bartomeu's dark past and tells the world, we are the ones in charge here. The sale of Ter Stegen is not a defeat, it's a checkmate. It's Barca saying, we have so much talent at home that we can afford to let a titan like Marc leave and still be the best. Let's talk about money, because here, the Madridistas are already taking out their calculators trying to find flaws in this operation. 80 million euros, Cules, 80 kilograms. With that, Barca can strengthen the team, bring in a new goalkeeper who will make Courtois forget, who, by the way, looks more like a goalpost than a goalkeeper in the Clásicos, and at the same time invest in Masia, that crack factory that Madrid will never have, because they prefer to buy Galactics who get injured every 2 weeks. Mbappé, 200 million for a player who doesn't even know how to head the ball, while we, with LAMINE YAMAL, a 17-year-old kid, are already giving football lessons to half of the Bernabeu. Isn't that right, Tomas Roncero? Or are you too busy writing your next column for Barca stole from us? And here's a fact that will hurt in the capital. With this sale, Barca not only strengthens economically but also sends a message to the Madridistas. You buy expensive, we sell expensive. Because while Florentino spends the GDP of a small country on players who don't perform, Barca does business with a goalkeeper who, although a legend, no longer fits into Flick's new scheme. This is management, gentlemen, this is what Joan Laporta, the most Cule president since Núñez, does to bring us back to the top, and without referee favors, because we leave that to the whites. Let's talk about what this sale means for the future, because here, Cules, the world does not stop. Ter Stegen is leaving, yes, but Barca is not a club that depends on a single player, no matter how great he is. In Madrid, they think that without Messi, we are a second-division team. Wrong. Barca is a philosophy, it's more than a club, it's the pride of Catalonia, it's the magic of Camp Nou, And now, with Flick at the helm, we have a young goalkeeper on the horizon, a certain Diego Cochin, a La Masia kid who is already making scouts all over Europe tremble. And you know what, Edu Aguirre? This kid doesn't need to be given penalties to shine, unlike a certain team that plays in white and has a referee as a friend every week. Let's talk clearly, Kules. This sale is not a whim, it's not a, let's sell Ter Stegen just because. No, Kules, this is a chess move by Hansi Flick, the man who brought hope back to Camp Nou. Flick is not Bartomeu, he is not a president who signs players on a whim. Flick is a strategist, a German with more vision than an eagle and more coolness than a Messi penalty in the last minute. This man knows that modern football waits for no one, not even legends like Ter Stegen, and that's why he agreed to this operation, because he has a plan so big that even Cruyff himself would applaud from heaven. Imagine Flick's office, Kules, with his notebook, his coffee, and that look of, I'm going to make Barca the king again. In that notebook, there's no room for complacency. Flick knows that Barca needs a goalkeeper who fits his style, a young, fast goalkeeper with good ball distribution and a hunger for titles. Let's be honest, Ter Stegen, with all the love we have for him, is no longer 22 years old like when he arrived from Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's 33, and while he's still a titan, Flick wants fresh blood. He wants a goalkeeper who is the Ter Stegen of 2014, but in 2025. And that goalkeeper, Kules, is already in his sights. Who is it? Well, here's another bombshell. Diego Cochin, the La Masia kid who has scouts from all over Europe fighting to see him train. This 19-year-old boy has more future than all of Madrid combined. And you know what? He doesn't need to be given penalties to shine, unlike a certain team that plays in white and lives off referee favors. Cochin is pure Kuhl talent, raised at La Masia, with Blaugrana DNA flowing through his veins, and if Flick has confidence in him, so do we. Because if there's one thing the history of Barca has taught us, it's that La Masia never disappoints. While Madrid spends millions on Galactics who then get injured, we produce stars from our own backyard. That's Barca, gentlemen. Now, Kules, let's enjoy this moment, because there's nothing more beautiful than seeing the Madridistas cry while we celebrate. Since the news of Ter Stegen's sale leaked, the Chiringuito pundits have been in turmoil. Edu Aguirre, Florentino's official spokesperson, came out saying that Barca is in crisis, that without Ter Stegen, we are a second-division team, that Madrid is going to crush La Liga. Crisis. The crisis is spending 200 million on Mbappe so he can miss more than a student in a math exam. The crisis is having a goalkeeper like Courtois who looks more like a mannequin than a goalkeeper in the Clásicos. The crisis is living off the glories of the 50s while Barca outmaneuvers you in the transfer market. And then there's Tomás Roncero, the poet of Madridismo, writing chronicles that seem to come from a Venezuelan soap opera. Barca is sinking, Barca has no direction, Barca doesn't know what it's doing. Please, Tomás, if anyone has no direction, it's your Madrid, which has been living off penalties and luck for years. Or have you already forgotten the 2-6 or the 0-4 or Bingham's goal that needed 3 VAR replays to be validated? Here, in Catalonia, we don't need friendly referees to win. We win with football, class, pride, and this sale of Ter Stegen is proof that Barca knows what it's doing. While Madrid continues to get lost in its own fairy tale, here in Catalonia, we don't live on excuses. We live on football, passion, pride, and this sale of Ter Stegen is proof that Barca is not only alive but stronger than ever. Let's take a pause, Kules, because even if this sale of Marc-André Ter Stegen is a masterstroke by Barca, we cannot ignore what this man has meant to us. We're talking about a goalkeeper who arrived at Camp Nou in 2014, when we could still smell the legacy of the Guardiola era, and the Madridistas were looking at us with envy from the capital. Ter Stegen didn't just fill Victor Valdés' gloves, he made them bigger, stronger, more epic. How many times have we seen our German Kaiser make impossible saves? How many times have we seen him get up after a play with that, don't even try, face that defeated any striker? That's Barca, Kules, the greatness of a club that doesn't just have players, but legends, and Ter Stegen, even if he's leaving now for Turkey to continue breaking records, will always be a Blaugrana legend. But beware, we are not here to become melancholic like Roncero after a lost Clásico. No, gentlemen, we are here to celebrate that Barca has managed to turn a titan into a historic operation. Because tell me, when was the last time Madrid sold a goalkeeper for 80 million? Never. They are too busy paying fortunes for players who don't even know where the ball is, like Eden Hazard, who looked more like a MasterChef contestant than a footballer, while we do business with a goalkeeper who was key in a Champions League, for Ligas, and countless magical nights at Camp Nou. So, Madridistas, take note. This is what it means to know how to manage, this is what it means to know how to play football, and this is what it means to be cool to the core. If you shout, Visca el Barça from your couch, if your blood boils every time you hear PEDRI talk about imaginary hold-ups, and if you think that Madridismo doesn't know anything about football, this is for you. Subscribe now, Cules, join the Barca without bar family and show that the love for Blaugrana is stronger than any Madridista bar. Hit the button, because the party continues. Let's talk numbers, because we, the Cules, love football, but we also love math when it comes to ridiculing Madrid. Ter Stegen arrived for €12 million, 12, which is less than what Florentino spends on a lunch with his UEFA friends, and now, a decade later, we are selling him for 80 million. Result, 68 million in pure profit, not counting the titles, the saves, and the desperate faces of Madridista strikers when they crashed into our wall. Do you want more? During these years, Ter Stegen played more than 400 matches for Barca, kept his goal untouched nearly 150 times, and became the first goalkeeper in the club's history to win the Zamora Trophy 3 times in a row. That's history, Cules, and meanwhile, at the Bernabeu, Courtois was busy getting injured and asking the referee for penalties. Now, let's clarify one thing. This sale is not a whim, it's not a, let's sell Ter Stegen just because. No, Cules, this is a chess move by Hansi Flick, the man who brought hope back to Camp Nou. Flick is not Bartomeu, he's not a president who signs players on a whim. Flick is a strategist, a German with more vision than an eagle and more composure than a messy penalty in the last minute. This man knows that modern football waits for no one, not even legends like Ter Stegen, and that's why he agreed to this operation, because he has a plan so grand that even Cruyff himself would applaud from heaven. Imagine Flick's office, Cules, with his notebook, his coffee, and that look of, I'm going to make Barca the king again, and in that notebook, there's no room for complacency. Flick knows that Barca needs a goalkeeper who fits his style, a young, fast goalkeeper with good ball distribution and a hunger for titles. Let's be honest, Ter Stegen, with all the love we have for him, is no longer 22 years old like when he arrived from Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's 33, and while he's still a titan, Flick wants fresh blood. He wants a goalkeeper who is the Ter Stegen of 2014, but in 2025. And that goalkeeper, Cules, is already in his sights. Who is it? Well, here's another bombshell. Diego Cochin, the La Masia kid who has scouts from all over Europe fighting to see him train. This 19-year-old boy has more future than all of Madrid combined. And you know what? He doesn't need to be given penalties to shine, unlike a certain team that plays in white and lives off referee favors. Cochin is pure Cule talent, raised at La Masia, with Blaugrana DNA flowing through his veins, and if Flick has confidence in him, so do we. Because if there's one thing the history of Barca has taught us, it's that La Masia never disappoints. While Madrid spends millions on Galactics who then get injured, we produce stars from our own backyard. That's Barca, gentlemen. Now, Cules, let's enjoy this moment, because there's nothing more beautiful than seeing the Madridistas cry while we celebrate. Since the news of Ter Stegen's sale leaked, the Chiringuito pundits have been in turmoil. Edu Aguirre, Florentino's official spokesperson, came out saying that Barca is in crisis, that without Ter Stegen, we are a second-division team, that Madrid is going to crush La Liga. Crisis. The crisis is spending 200 million on Mbappe so he can miss more than a student in a math exam. The crisis is having a goalkeeper like Courtois who looks more like a mannequin than a goalkeeper in the Clásicos. The crisis is living off the glories of the 50s while Barca outmaneuvers you in the transfer market. And then there's Tomás Roncero, the poet of Madridismo, writing chronicles that seem to come from a Venezuelan soap opera. Barca is sinking, Barca has no direction, Barca doesn't know what it's doing. Please, Tomás, if anyone has no direction, it's your Madrid, which has been living off penalties and luck for years. Or have you already forgotten the 2-6 or the 0-4 or Bingham's goal that needed 3 VAR replays to be validated? Here, in Catalonia, we don't need friendly referees to win. We win with football, class, pride, and this sale of Ter Stegen is proof that Barca knows what it's doing. While Madrid continues to get lost in its own fairy tale, here in Catalonia, we don't live on excuses. We live on football, passion, pride, and this sale of Ter Stegen is proof that Barca is not only alive but stronger than ever. Let's talk about what really matters, Cules. The €80 million, 0, A sum that makes Florentino look at his checkbook with a "what do I do now?" expression. Because with 80 million, Barça can do wonders. Sign a new goalkeeper, strengthen the midfield, bring in a winger who will give Vinicius a lesson in crossing, and along the way, invest in La Masia to continue producing stars like LAMINE, YAMAL, GAVI, or PEDRI. Because that's what sets us apart from Madrid. They buy, we create. They spend, we invest. They cry, we celebrate. Imagine the transfer market, Kules, with 80 million, Laporta can go for a star like Nico Williams, who has already told Florentino that he prefers the sun of Barcelona to the cold of Madrid. Or he can strengthen the defense with a centre-back who will make us forget the times when Pique had to do everything on the field. Or better yet, he can bring in a striker who shoots better than Mbappé, who seems to have learned how to shoot in a correspondence course. The possibilities are endless, and the best part is that Barça doesn't need to sell its soul to sign, as they do at the Bernabeu. We do business with intelligence, strategy, vision, and not only that, Kules, these 80 million are a message to the world. It's Barça saying, "We are back and we are coming with everything." Because while Madrid continues to live off the rent of its Champions Leagues, we are building the future, a future with Flick at the helm, with LAMINE Yamal breaking backs, with GAVI fighting for every ball as if it were the last, and with a Camp Nou that will once again become the feared fortress of Europe. So, Madridistas, prepare the tissues, because Barça is not only alive but stronger than ever. If there's one thing Madrid will never understand, it's the power of La Masia. While they spend fortunes on galactics who don't perform, we have a gold mine at home, and this sale of Ter Stegen only strengthens our bet on the academy. Because, Kules, the next Barça goalkeeper won't be a 100 million galactic transfer, it will be a La Masia kid like Diego Cochin, who has the Blaugrana crest tattooed on his heart. And that, Madridistas, can't be bought with money. La Masia is the envy of world football, from where Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Busquets, and now LAMINE Yamal, GAVI, PEDRI have come, and Madrid, what does it have? Arda Güler, who plays fewer minutes than a Castilla substitute, or Vinicius, who needs 3 dribbles to make 1 good. Please, the day Madrid has an academy like ours, Camp Nou will be filled with flying pigs. La Masia is our pride, our DNA, our guarantee that Barça will always be at the top, no matter what, and with the 80 million from Ter Stegen, we will make La Masia shine even more. We will invest in coaches, facilities, scouts who will find the next Messi in a lost village of Catalonia, because while Madrid depends on Florentino and his checkbook, we depend on our talent, our philosophy, our history, and this history, Kules, is not written with money, it is written with passion, with football, with Blaugrana pride. Let's close this segment with a clear, direct message and hearts full of Kules pride. This sale of Ter Stegen is not just a transfer, it's a declaration of intent. It's Barça telling the world, we are here and we're not going anywhere. It's Laporta looking Florentino in the eye and saying, you can have your referees, your penalties, your TV shows, but you'll never have our spirit. It's LAMINE Yamal mocking Carvajal in the next Clásico. It's GAVI stealing a ball in the 90th minute. It's Camp Nou singing, Visca el Barça, while the Madridistas hide. And to you, Madridistas, some free advice. Stop crying, stop saying that Barça is finished, that it has no money, that it has no project, because every time you open your mouth, we respond with facts. We sell Ter Stegen for 80 million, we sign stars, we produce talents from La Masia, and we beat you on the field. Want proof? Look at the 2-6, look at the 0-4, look at LAMINE Yamal silencing critics at 17, look at Flick, who in a few months has done more for Barça than Ancelotti has in years for Madrid. So, Kules, lift your heads, stand tall, and shout with us, Visca el Barça, and Visca Catalunya, because this sale is just the beginning of a new era, of a Barça that will become the king of Europe again, that will make the Madridistas tremble and will show the world that there is nothing greater than being a Kules. Come on, Barça, come on, Kules. This sale of Marc-André Ter Stegen is not just an earthquake in Barcelona, it's not just a direct missile to the heart of Madridismo, it's a hurricane that shakes world football. From the streets of Catalonia to the bars of Buenos Aires, from the markets of Tokyo to the beaches of Rio, the news of the 80 million that Galatasaray paid for our Kaiser is on everyone's lips, and it's not for nothing, because Barça has once again shown that it doesn't just play on the field, but also dominates the transfer market chessboard. It's a global checkmate, gentlemen. While Madrid boasts of its prehistoric Champions Leagues, we write headlines that resonate on 5 continents. That's what it means to be a Kules, that's what it means to be more than a club. Let's talk about the impact of this operation, because it's not just about money, it's about prestige, brand, showing the world that FC Barcelona is still the king of football. The 80 million euros for Ter Stegen are not just a figure, It's a slap in the face to all those who said that Barça was finished, that we were a club in crisis, that we couldn't compete with the petrodollars of the sheiks or Florentino's checkbook. Crisis. Ha! Crisis is what Madrid has every time LAMINE Yamal touches the ball and makes Carvajal look like a training cone. Crisis is spending 200 million on Mbappe for him to end up as Rodrigo's substitute. We, on the other hand, sell a goalkeeper for a fortune and remain the envy of world football. And not only that, Cules, this sale has put Barça at the center of attention. The big international media, from ESPN to Sky Sports, are talking about us. Barça surprises the world with the sale of Ter Stegen. Laporta makes a masterstroke in the market. Galatasaray signs a legend. That's Barça, gentlemen. We are the news. We are the trend. We are the club that football can't take its eyes off. Meanwhile, in Madrid, the only headlines are about Vinicius' latest tantrum or Roncero's umpteenth column saying that VAR robbed them. Please, Madridistas, find a new argument, because that one is more worn out than Di Stefano's cleats. But the best part of all this, Cules, is what this sale means for the millions of Barça fans around the world, because being a Cule is not just about shouting at Camp Nou, it's not just about wearing the Blaugrana jersey on Los Ramblas. Being a Cule is a global feeling, it's a way of life that unites people from all corners of the planet. From the child in Nigeria who dreams of becoming the next Messi to the grandfather in Mexico who still cries remembering Iniesta's World Cup goal. This sale of Ter Stegen is a message for all of them. Barça is alive, Barça is strong, and Barça will continue to be the pride of all those who carry Blaugrana in their hearts. So, Madridistas, prepare the tissues, because while you cry over a penalty not given, we celebrate that the whole world is talking about FC Barcelona. And now, Cules, let's talk about the man behind this masterstroke, Joan Laporta, the president who brought hope back to Barça. Because let's be honest, after the dark years of Bartomeu, after the absurd transfers and the debts that seemed to come from a horror movie, we needed a real leader, a true Cule who knew how to put Barça back in its rightful place. And Laporta is doing it, and how? This sale of Ter Stegen is not just an economic move, it's proof that we have a president who thinks big, who doesn't settle, who doesn't tremble when making tough decisions to build a glorious future. Imagine the scene, Cules, Laporta in his office, with the Barça crest on the wall, looking the Galatasaray directors in the eye and saying, 80 million, take it or leave it. That's character, that's what sets Laporta apart from Florentino, who looks more like an accountant than a president. Because while Florentino is busy collecting galactics who don't perform, Laporta is rebuilding Barça from the foundations, with intelligence, vision, passion, and this sale of Ter Stegen is just another piece of a puzzle that, once completed, will make Camp Nou the temple of world football. We have come to the end of this exclusive that has shaken the football world. If you feel Blaugrana in your veins, if you cried at Messi's farewell but continue to shout, Visca el Barça, with more strength than ever, if you believe that this team is destined to become the king of Europe again, this is for you. Subscribe now, join the Barça without Bar family and show that the love for FC Barcelona is greater than any transfer, any crisis, any whining Madridista. We are the Cules, we are invincible, and together, we will make history. And now, tell me in the comments, do you think this sale is the beginning of a new golden era for Barça? Which star would you sign with the 80 million from Ter Stegen? And who will silence the most Madridistas, LAMINE Yamal or the next Cule goalkeeper? Leave your opinions, Cules, because the virtual Camp Nou awaits.